Well, hello there, folks. Today on Mediocre Minis, part of the Mediocre Hobbyist, we're going to be painting this Battle Axe from Battletech. And a lot of cool things about it. Actually, I really like this mech. I wish it was more prominent than it was. And we'll get into it a little bit more when we're painting it. But I like it. Super cool design. It's very similar to a Warhammer, and there's a reason for that. And we'll kind of talk about that when we're painting it. So, I guess to kind of bring it off, this is the first mech designed exclusively for House Davion in, I want to say it was $24.95, shortly after the creation of the Mackie in the proliferation era, where we see the Icarus II and the Mackie and the Fire Bee and the Ymir, all that stuff, the Gladiator from House Karita and all that. I did have this set, and this has kind of given me an excuse to paint it. And you know what? That's okay. I thought it's very fitting, kind of having the original mechs in the Battletech setting. And so we'll kind of go from there. So what we're going to paint this with today, we're going to use the Crypt Wraith Army Painter standard. It's not the Fanatics, it's just standard old Army Painter. We're also going to use the Battletech House Davion, which is also Camo Cloak in the speed paint range. We're going to use maybe some Grim Black for some highlights, Broadsword Silver for actuators and or missile pods, and then of course PPC Blue for the ends of the PPCs. And then I think we might no, that's khaki. I don't want khaki. I think maybe we might use some bold pyrite red for an accent on the cockpit, as well as the coal black, which is somewhere in here. Actually, you know what? We might use orange on the. I think we'll use orange on the cockpit. I haven't really played around with the orange that much in the. That's dark silver. Where is it? Somewhere. Dark silver. Purple. Problems you have working out of a shoebox. You're never. Oh, there we go. There's the coal black. So I've got my water in my Pop It paint palette, and my Strange Brew, and my brushes, and more brushes, and I did add a little extra light to this one, so maybe this time it won't be so dark. So let's start out with a little bit of this Crypt Wraith. And I did add a mixing ball to it because it's been a hot minute since I've used this. And again, this has been primed with the Pro Acryl black primer, and then dry brushed with the Pro Acryl white primer. We did that before filming. So, I hope that was enough. This is the problem when you encounter dealing with some of these. I haven't used this pot in a long time, so sometimes the paint will get stuck up at the top of the nozzle. And will continue to be stuck at the top of the nozzle. And I don't have any toothpicks or needles or anything. And this was a horrible choice by me, and that's it is kind of what it is. So we'll take the top off, and of course this time around I also forgot to grab some paper towels, so I'm gonna take care of this and come back. All right, so now that that's cleaned up, we'll add a drop or two of this, probably 2 drops. And then I'll immediately forget where I placed the lid. It's over here. And let's take a drop of water. That's probably good enough. A little quick spritz. We'll take our handy dandy brush. And get it wet. And dry it off. And this is well, I'm worried that we're going to have the same problem that we had last time, but let's see. I think we'll be okay with that. Maybe. Let's see how it goes on the old mini here. We're just gonna start applying some thin down paint to the whole model. I wanted this to kind of look a little bit different than the Mackie that we painted the other day, just because they're both kind of like a olive drab color. So I thought using the crypt green would be a little bit different, and maybe it'll add a little different kind of contrast at the end of the painting. I can already tell this paint's too thin. I wish I knew where my pipettes had gotten. It's kind of hard controlling the oral syringes, and maybe it's the fact that I didn't mix that color up quite enough. And that could be too. A lot of that pigment medium could be at the bottom of the bottle. Now I did have to kind of clean out the nozzle on that too. So these have been sitting for quite a while. I've had I don't know, I think it was probably 2018, 2019, somewhere in there. My mother-in-law got me the whole color range for Army Painter in that big ass box. Because I was paying a lot of D&D minis at the time, because I was running a campaign and I wanted to have my monsters all pretty fancy for game day. Yeah. Kind of curious to, like I said earlier, I haven't had much experience with the Army Painter Fan Addicts. And I'm kind of curious to see how those are in comparison to these. If I had some more Pro Acryl, which I think maybe next time we'll do, I got a Coyote I think we'll paint up, because I've got all these minis from the Proliferation box set, and I haven't, God, that's so wet that it's almost thick applying it. But, that's all right. We're not going to get frustrated. We're gonna paint it. We're going to paint it in any area that looks like it might have a little too much paint. We're just going to go back over and soak it up and redistribute it. But I hope you all had a good day. It's tough out there. It's tough out there, and it's only getting tougher. I had a pretty. I had a day. It was long. Some stuff happened, and then ended up having a buddy of mine. He came over and we hung out for a little bit and played a little bit of Magic and Magic of the Gathering, and it was a good time. So, that's one thing. It's a lot easier going through adulting when you got somebody to talk to, be that a partner or a couple good buddies or, anything kind of like that. Yeah, it can be hard to get out there. I've got maybe a handful of friends and 12 dozen acquaintances. It can be hard making friends out there, and I get it. I'm pretty introverted myself, so I know what it's like. You kind of bottle up and you don't talk or do anything, and unless you're around the people you've known for a long time and you're comfortable with, then yeah, that's me. That's me in the corner. Well, I'm liking the way that Wrath Green's looking on this guy. I think that's gonna look really good with that Davion green speed paint over it, kind of like a contrast wash kind of deal. I think it'll look pretty sexy. So, thing about the did I call it a Warhammer? A Battle Axe. Which brings me to the point. The thing about the Battle Axe here is, like I said earlier, it was the first mech created by House Davion. And it's got a pretty interesting story because it was, like I said, it was kind of built in response to the Mackie there, but it did lead to the creation of two other mechs, which would be the old Hammer Hands and the Warhammer. Now the original Battle Axe was 2 PPCs, 2 LRM5s, and a 6-tube SRM, which, for what it is, I actually like that loadout a lot more on a heavy mech than I like what the Warhammer has. And the only thing about this that I think the Warhammer's a little bit better on would be heat management. I want to say this only has like 15 or 19 single heat sinks on it. So if each PPC is 10 heat per round of firing, and then I want to say missile racks are probably around 2 or 3, depending on what they are. I want to say this guy also has some lasers. Maybe not. No, it doesn't have lasers. It's just the 2 PPCs and the missiles. But with having those 2 PPCs and the missile racks, you've got your long range with the PPC, or your medium range with the PPC. You have your long range with the 2 LRM5s, and then if somebody gets in close, you got that SRM6. And with the Warhammer, you got the 2 PPCs. I want to say it's been a hot second since I've looked it up, or even played with one. It's got the PPCs. I think it might have 1 SRM rack on it, and machine guns, and a couple lasers. And the thing about the Warhammer is it's a good workhorse, that's for sure. It's not a bad mech by any means, but it overheats really fast. And you know what? That's okay. Most mechs overheat a little faster than you want them to. If everything could fire everything all at once, then what's the point of having a heat scale, right? You gotta take what you can, you gotta think about it, and you gotta do what you can with what you have. And so the Battle Axe here, it spawned this, and then the old Hammer Hands, which is pretty much the same thing, but minus the PPCs, and add autocannons, which any self-respecting Federated Sons player is all about those autocannons. And you know what? Autocannons are great. I love autocannons. They're awesome. They are awesome. You know. You know what? That's looking pretty good. I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot. I think we got pretty good coverage on the whole mini here. Get rid of some of this extra if we can. Gonna dab it out and wipe it off, and then come back through and try our best to dab it out again. And wipe it off and come back in and just kind of. I know this is going to look very close to the Mackie when it's all said and done, but I hope using the Quick Wraith kind of makes it a little lighter, more of a. I guess we'll see when it's done. I don't think it's going to be as dark as that Mackie was. That Mackie ended up being pretty dark, but you know what? I really like the way that came out, and that's okay. That's really what matters. Is as long as you like the way it came out, then you're doing good. I hope you're all enjoying whatever strange brew you're drinking. We'll just kind of let that dry for a minute or two, and we'll come back to it. All right, now I think we're dry enough. We're gonna mix up some Davion green here. And we're gonna apply it to the whole thing right quick. I do kind of like the way if you are going to use speed paint, I do kind of like the way that it you use like colors and just kind of touch it up. I think it adds a little bit more dimension to what you're working with. And they go on really fast. Now, like I said, if you're painting a whole regiment or squad or battalion, whatever war game you're playing, I can definitely see the appeal of just slapping some speed paint on everything and getting it done in a pretty quick amount of time. And I'm not saying this is a technique that you have to use. In fact, I'll leave that up to your discretion. There's a lot of techniques out there for painting minis. I really like the way this one came out. I got a gladiator I've been sitting on for a while, and I've been trying to carve out some time, and it's pretty much already halfway painted, so maybe one of these days I'll just bring it out and it'll be all red, and we'll just speed paint it right quick and see what it looks like, you know. Forget the missile launcher on the top there. That's looking really good. At least I think it's looking really good. I hope you think so too. I know it's kind of hard to get all the details and everything because you're not sitting in front of it. Need a couple more drops here just to finish it out. I got a really old creaky table. You hear that cracking noise? That's what it is. Anyway, it's just I really should be dragging the paint down. I know that's kind of the way you're supposed to use these speed paints is you start at the top and you drag down, and I forget about that sometimes. It happens. You forget about it sometimes. And maybe that's more for, capes and shit like that. I'm not 100% sure. But I tell you what, that is starting to look real good. At least I think it looks real good. And you don't have to follow this paint scheme if you want to. You have a Merc company and your own color scheme. You can do it however you like. That's what I love about the setting. It doesn't matter. If it's what you want to do, by all means do it. All right. We've got our speed paint on there. I was thinking about maybe doing like a freehand Federated Suns emblem or something on it, but I'm not 100% sure where I'd do it. I don't even know where I'd do a unit number on it. I was thinking like maybe this could be the first one ever and it'd have a 01 on it, but I'm not good enough at freehand, and if it was going to be anywhere, I think this plate right here off the PPC on each side would be a good spot to have a 01. And then maybe the pauldrons up here would be a good place for the Federated Suns logo, but you know what? That's okay. We're gonna leave it as is, and it's looking real good. I like it. I don't think it's quite as dark as the Mackie came out, which would make sense. I used a different shade of green. Like, it's different enough that you can maybe tell the difference. But yeah, I really like it. So we're gonna go ahead and let this dry, and yeah, on to the next step. All right, so I'm thinking this guy's pretty much dry, and yeah, it looks pretty dry to me, and it's looking pretty good as far as I can tell. A little darker. It's got areas it's a little bit darker, and then it's got some areas where some green really pops, and you know what? That's I like that. So the color scheme's a little bit different than the Mackie that I did, and I think it really, it shows off them House Davion colors. I know it's not Royal Guard, and if we, let's just say this is the prototype, I doubt it would come in Royal Guard House Davion colors. So let's be honest, if it was the prototype, it'd probably just be primer gray. So the other thing about this little guy here is once there it is. Kind of had a little bit of a, sorry, I'm just mixing up this silver. Once the jihad started, and I'm not, I'll be honest, I played my fair share of mech assault, but I didn't really know about all the lore and everything else. And when it comes to that, like I've been around the mech warrior thing for quite a while, but when it comes to some of the lore and stuff, I'm pretty oblivious to it. I'm fixing that though. I've been brushing up on my Battletech history, but I do know that this particular mech did kind of get a little bit of a resurgence there in the jihad, which you know what, it deserves it. It's a pretty sweet design, if I do say so myself. You got the PPCs. Like I said, I think the loadout on it's probably better than a Warhammer. But it's the quirks, If you're playing with the advanced rule set and all that, I'm not exactly sure what kind of quirks it has, but if you're just looking at it, ton for ton, 70-ton mech, 2 PPCs and a shitload of missiles. I'd rather take the 2 PPCs and a shitload of missiles over 2 PPCs, a few missiles, machine guns, and lasers. And that, you know what, the Warhammer gets hot, and I'm sure the Battle Axe gets hot too. It doesn't have the greatest of cooling. Like I said, I think there's only like 15 or 16 heat sinks in it. There might be more, I can't remember. It's only got a handful though, so it's not like it's super great. But you know what? Missiles don't create that much heat, and having some missiles is I don't know. I like the idea of it. The worst case scenario is you have an ammo explosion, and I don't believe this machine came with case until it was reissued by the word of Blake. And so that part of it kind of is a little suspect, I suppose. Sus, as my son would say. You know what? I think we're going to try a different brush here for some of these. This here is a War Gamer Regiment brush, and it's a little finer point than the one I was just using. Just kind of get in here and apply some of this silver paint to the heat sinks on the back without trying to spill it over into the rest of the paint job. Yeah, there's a couple other spots here where this is probably going to come in handy, like right here. Whether or not this is a heat sink, I want to say it is, because it sure looks like a heat sink on the legs. And I'm going to have to touch that up a little bit. I can see that I got a little bit blood on the green paint. And we got a little bit more over here. Yeah, there we go. That's looking good. Kind of wash that off a little bit. We got some on the inside here. Now then, I gotta try and yep, something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's gonna be checking out the crotch of your mech, and if they are, they should probably seek help. So just do what you can. I can tell that's going to need a little bit of touching up, just kind of looking at it from afar. And you know what? That's okay. A little bit of touch-up work never hurt anybody. Let's see here. I kind of like the idea of having this kind of back plate on these PPCs. I kind of like the idea of having them be silver. They get so hot the paint just burns off of them. And you know what? Maybe that's not lore accurate. Maybe it is. I don't care. I think it looks good. It's just that little extra detail on them. And you could paint them black if you wanted to. I just think having this little cap on the back being the same color of the barrel, I think that's pretty neat. You know, them boys at the factory, they painted it. And it got so hot in the back cap that her combustion chamber. I haven't really looked into see how PVC actually works and when it comes to that, but I kind of feel that that's ain't looking half bad. So I think on this guy we're going to take some coal black. We're going to mix it up. And we're going to do a drop or two in there. And we'll give it way too much water. So at this point, I think I'm just going to abandon that, and we're going to go here with a drop or two. And let's try it again. We got one single drop of water. Absorb it into the paintbrush, and we'll kind of mix this up. And I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna paint the old feet pads here. I think we're gonna give them a nice black coat just to kind of give it a little contrast, because this whole thing is green. So we're gonna put some black here. And then there might be another place or somewhere that we might throw black on just to kind of give it a little break. I mean, it's already pretty dang dark, but I don't know. I kind of like having black feet pads. Makes it look like your mech's wearing sneakers. And who doesn't want to just stomp through a town in a mech wearing sneakers? Like Godzilla wearing a pair of loafers. You know? Why not? It's your world. You can paint it however you want. I just thought it was black feet pads. Got some Blackfoot pads. Yeah, you know what? I kind of think that this plate here, we'll make this black on both sides, just to kind of give it a little break in color. Kind of brightens up the green a little bit. Oh, I forgot a couple heat vents in the front here. Ooh. That was the wrong color. There we go. Yeah. We get some, instead of using this PVC glue, we'll give it a little dollop of this this other blue that I got, just to kind of give it a little different kind of color. It's looking pretty good. least I think it is. Let's see if I can get it closer and you can kind of see it. Let me move my light over. You can't really tell. It looks really tan, the light on it. It's not the greatest. So I think if I was doing this in the daytime, and if I was doing this in the daytime and there was some natural light, I think it would be a lot better. But unfortunately, with my life and how things go, and my job and my family commitments and all that, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to shoot an episode of this in the middle of the day or not. And you know what? That's okay. All right. So we're gonna do black of the cockpit paint, and it's gonna be tough because that's the one thing about the this here Battle Axe is it does not have that big of a cockpit. It's a very small couple sections of windows, so we're just gonna soak some black paint onto this brush, and we're just gonna that's way too much. We're gonna apply it the best we can with what we have. And it doesn't look like I put a single dent into painting that up after doing that. I don't want to put too much paint on it that it just blobs over and kind of ruins the other small details of the cockpit, you know. Oh, just like that. That was way too much water. I did not dry it off enough. There we go. Finally got some color on it. I don't know if you can really, sorry, I'm very entrenched in what I'm doing, so I don't know if you can really see what I'm doing. I'm not looking at my camera. There's a couple side glass here that's well, it's kind of difficult to get to. There we go. All right. Grab the orange. I think I just want like a drop of orange. Yeah, something like that. A single drop of orange. I don't think I've used this yet, so I'm interested to see how it works out. I'll take a little bit of the orange here, and we'll just kind of work it in with the black. Leave that one all black, and then we'll put a little bit of orange here, and we'll kind of let that dry. Sorry, it's kind of difficult with the current setup I have. It's kind of difficult to kind of just do what I'm trying to do and let you guys see what I'm doing. Alright, well, we'll let that sit for a second. Let that dry out. But, yeah, it's coming together nicely. I know, I guess if I really wanted to, I could get some actuator metal or something and kind of do this, this middle part here. This is kind of like a bare circle drive kind of deal. It is very primitive in that, but also having a mech with a silver belt, yeah, it doesn't fill me with the greatest of confidence. So we're gonna let this guy dry for a few, and we'll come back to it in a second. All right, now to finish this one out, I'm not really super happy with the way the canopy's looking on this one, and at some point in time, I gotta just quit fucking with it. I know that's kind of some people are gonna say just keep working and manipulating it, but eventually at some point in time you're gonna get super frustrated, and at that point, is it really worth fucking with? I mean, it's good to push yourself so you can get better at it and everything else. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to skew one way or the other on that. It's just, you know, there eventually comes a point in time, yeah, like that. I got orange. I was liking the way it was, and I kept pulling on it, and the black came down and fucked it up. So I'll put a little bit more orange on it, and you know what? I don't mind that. That's not half bad. And can we do the same over here? Maybe if we put a little more orange on the tip. And just kind of come in here and do that. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, it doesn't look half bad there. Alright, so we'll take a little bit of our white, which I poured off camera, and we'll put a little bit right there. And we'll put a little bit right there. And then that got water on it somehow, and we'll have to come in here and clean this up, and then cover it up with some more green paint after it's all dry, because fuck my life. And it's starting to get kind of late, and I'm starting to get ready for bed. So I've noticed sometimes you make your worst decisions when you're sleepy. And I think this might be more of a skill issue rather than it's late and I need to go to bed. Just because this little guy, he's got a little. It's a interestingly small cockpit, small canopy, but I do like the orange and black. I don't know if you can see it from there. It's not my best. It's not my worst, but it's not my best either. So we're just gonna take a little teeny tiny dot of white, and we're gonna put it right, not there because I didn't have enough paint on the brush. Right about there. You know what? I think that ain't half bad. It's not great, but it's serviceable. We're going to take a little bit of the green that we got left here, and we're just going to kind of tidy up the the outside of the canopy. Try and cover up any of that paint that spilled off of the canopy. And I think this one will be good. There we go. Not bad looking. And you know what? I'd put that on a table. You know what? At least I tried. And you know, if somebody was gonna say, well, I could do it better, or this, that, and the other, then you know what? Maybe those aren't the kind of people you should be playing with. So, I like it. That's all that matters. And I have a pretty good mini for the tabletop. So, we're gonna call that good. I hope y'all had a good one. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you enjoyed your strange brew, whatever you were drinking, and we'll catch you on the next one.